قال, he said. Who said? Yusha ibn Nun. When Musa a.s. asked him to bring the food, Yusha replied, أَرَأَيْتَ? Did you see? إِذْ أَوَيْنَا, when we retired. Awayna from the root letters? Hamza waw. When we retired, when we took shelter, إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ, to the rock. As-sakhra from the root letters, Sad, Kha, Ra. And sakhra is a huge rock. It's a boulder. And it's also said that it's a very tough, solid rock. So, do you remember, did you see, when we stopped, when we took shelter, when we took some rest by the rock, فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ, I forgot the fish. Meaning, I forgot to mention to you about the fish. You were sleeping, I saw the fish leaving, and I forgot to tell you about it. And I had forgotten it until this point. وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ, and none made me forget it, إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ, except the shaitan, and أَذْكُرَ, that I should mention it to you. Shaitan made me forget to mention it to you when you woke up. وَاتَّخَذَ, and it took سَبِيلَهُ, its way, فِي الْبَحْرِ, in the sea, عَجَبًا, amazingly. The fish went into the sea and it made its way in a very amazing manner. So, وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا. And what was that very amazing manner in which the fish swam away? Making a tunnel. And it can also refer to that how the fish came out of the bucket itself, out of the basket itself, and it just went into the sea and it began swimming. It was a dead fish. It was a cooked fish. Just imagine. Cooked fish jumping out of the basket and into the sea and swimming away. Now, we see in this ayat that a person is always tested in his journey of knowledge. Musa a.s. was also tested. How? Through his student. That his student forgot to tell him. So, tests are a part of learning more. And a person is tested sometimes through bad memory, that a person is not able to remember much. Sometimes missing the obvious, that you have something in front of you but you still don't get it. Or forgetting something that is extremely important. But all of these difficulties that come in a person's way when he's trying to learn something, what should he do? He should always reflect on them. He should take a lesson, and he should improve, and he should continue. He should not dwell upon it that, oh, my memory is so bad. I can't learn. He should think about it. How can I improve my memory? How can I improve in my learning? Take a lesson from it and move on. Continue. Like, for example, we learned that when a person does istighfar, then what happens? Allah makes his problems easy for him. Also, we learned that a student, Yusha ibn Nun, he was a student, he was a follower, he was also a servant. He should never conceal or lie about his mistakes. Because mistakes, they happen. They're a part of life. Now when Musa a.s. said, where's the fish? Bring the food. Yusha doesn't say, oh, it's not there. Maybe somebody stole it. No, he knew that he was guilty. He knew that he had forgotten to mention it to Musa a.s., but he does not lie about it. He says, you see, I forgot. Inni naseet. Simple. So never conceal the mistake or lie about the mistakes. And at the same time, we see that he's not arguing with Musa a.s. He's not blaming him. Let's say you slept for so long that I forgot to mention it to you by the time you woke up. No, he didn't say anything like that. He tells him exactly what happened very accurately. Because when a person is truthful, only then he can get some help. And it's possible that sometimes we make mistakes. Like honestly, you forget to bring the assignment. Honestly, you forget to do something very important. You've done it, but you forget. Tell the truth. Don't not show up to the class just because you forgot there was an assignment due. Because sometimes people do this. That there's an assignment due, they forgot to do it, they say, okay, I'm not going to go to school today because if I go, they're going to ask me, so I might as well not go, listen online or request the recordings later. No. A mistake has happened, it has happened. Now on top of that, don't make another mistake. قال, he said, Musa a.s. said to Yusha, ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي. That is exactly what we were looking for. We don't see Musa a.s. scolding him, yelling at him, insulting him. No. He just says, ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي. That's exactly what we were looking for. فَارْتَدَّا. So both of them returned. Ra, dal, They went back. عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا. Upon their footsteps. Athar is a plural of athar. And what is an athar? The trace, the remnant of something after it has gone. And the athar of a human being are also his footsteps. So they went back on their footsteps, qasasa, retracing them, following them. Qasas, qaf, sad, sad, literally means to follow. And from the same root is qasas, meaning stories. Why? Because you're supposed to follow the lesson that you learn. And you follow the narrator as he tells you the story. So they went back onto their footsteps, retracing them, following them. Why were they following the footsteps that they had made? So that they could get back to the junction of the two seas. So that they could get back to the exact place where the fish had left. Because that is the place where they were supposed to meet Khadr. And if they went anywhere else, they would not be able to meet him. That was the place. And because it was the coast by the sea, this is why there were footsteps. And notice how fartadda, they went back. Immediately they returned. Why? Because just imagine if the tide became high, then those footsteps would be washed away. So Musa a.s. and Yusha, immediately they left. Now what do we learn from this? That it happens that a person, when he makes promises, when he sets goals, when he has some ambitions, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test him. When a person says big things, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, then Allah tests him. That is he just saying it or does he really mean it? Musa a.s. said, أَوْ أَمْضِيَ حُقُبًا. So Allah tested him. Are you really going to spend centuries? Are you really going to spend a lot of time or are you just saying it? So similarly, when people make some high goals, when they set some high goals, that I am going to, inshallah, complete this course. I'm going to memorize the entire Quran. I'm going to study this book cover to cover. Then Allah will definitely test him. If he is truthful or he is just saying it. For example, it's possible that a girl, she says that I'm going to wear this hijab. I'm going to wear this niqab. No matter who, no matter what anybody says. I'm going to keep it on. And then she goes to school. And there she finds it difficult to communicate with the people. She finds it difficult that people are looking at her. And then she says, okay, I think I should take it off. So this is what? A test that came. She said she was going to do it regardless of what people say. But then Allah tested her. Similarly, we say we're going to do something. And Allah tests us. Musa a.s. said he was going to continue for centuries. And Allah tested him by making him travel a bit extra. And because he was sincere, he did not complain. He did not yell. He did not become impatient. He did not give up. What did he do? He went back immediately. And this is the case with only the sincere ones. Whenever you have some ambitions, Allah will test you. If you're sincere, you will be successful. Then we also see that a teacher should be patient with the mistakes, with the forgetfulness of the student. Any kind of teacher, whether it's a mother or an older sibling or a friend who is helping her friend learn, or a teacher who is instructing students, any kind of teacher, they should be patient with the mistakes of who? Their students. You see, dealing with other people's mistakes, that is what sabr is. When people, they make mistakes, when they create problems for you, then you do sabr. If you look at it, what Yusha did caused Musa a.s. to spend extra time, extra effort in doing something. And there was a high possibility that they would completely lose the opportunity because the fish was gone, the sign was gone. And if they would not reach that place, that's it, he would not be able to meet Khadr. But look at the sabr of Musa a.s. He does not yell at him. He does not shout at him. He doesn't say, okay, you go back home now. I'll continue this journey myself. Thank you very much for your services. No. He is very patient with him. And this is the kind of patience that we also need. When other people make mistakes. When somebody else has to do something, they don't do it, and it has a domino effect on what you're supposed to do. You're unsuccessful because of their breaking their promises. Your life becomes difficult because of their going against their commitments. That is what sabr is. If that is not sabr, then what is sabr? What is sabr then? Then we also see that a person should not waste his time. فَارْتَدَّ. Then immediately they returned. They didn't say, okay, forget about it, or we'll just go, after we find some food and after we've taken some rest. No, immediately they went back. Now the hadith continues. I'll mention to you the hadith. That they went back retracing their steps until they reached the rock. So Musa a.s. and Yusha ibn Nun, they went back from that point, retracing their footsteps until they found the rock, they reached that point where the fish had left. And there they found a man that was covered with a garment. Musa a.s. greeted him. And Al-Khadir said, "Is there such a greeting in your land?" Musa a.s. said, "I am Musa." He said, "Are you the Musa of the children of Israel?" Musa a.s. said, "Yes." And then he added, "I have come to you so that you may teach me something of that knowledge which you have been taught." Al-Khadir said, "You will not be able to have patience with me. You won't be able to learn that knowledge. O Musa, I have some of Allah's knowledge which He has bestowed upon me, but you do not know it. And you too have some of Allah's knowledge which He has bestowed upon you, but I do not know it." Musa a.s. said, "If Allah wills, you will find me patient, and I will not disobey you in any matter." So Al-Khadir said to him, "Then if you should follow me, ask me not about anything until I myself mention it to you." So this was the condition that they had said, and then they continued onto the journey. We'll listen to the recitation and then we'll continue with the ayat.
وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ لَا أَبْرَحُ حَتَّى أَبْلُغَ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ أَوْ أَمْضِيَ حُقُبًا فَلَمَّا بَلَغَا مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا نَسِيَا حُوتَهُمَا فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ آتِنَا غَدَاءَنَا لَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنْ سَفَرِنَا هَذَا نَصَبًا قَالَ أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ فَإِنِّي نسيت الحوت وما أنسانيه إلا الشيطان أن أذكره واتخذ سبيله في البحر عجبا قال ذلك ما كنا نبغي فارتدا على آثارهما قصصا
فَوَجَدَ عَبْدًا. And then they found a servant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when both of them went back, Musa alayhi salam and Yusha ibn Nun, they went back retracing their footsteps. They got back to the junction of the two seas where the rock was. فَوَجَدَ. Both of them found عَبْدًا, a servant, مِنْ عِبَادِنَا, from our servants. He was a servant from our servants. Who was a servant? Khadir. But this servant was special. How? That آتَيْنَاهُ, we gave him رَحْمَةً مِّنْ عِنْدِنَا, a mercy from us. A special favor Khadir had been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What was this rahmah? What was this mercy that had been given to him? Some have said that it refers to prophethood. Others say wahi. Others say close friendship. Allahu a'lam. We do not know. All we know is that Allah gave him some special mercy from him. But one thing for sure is that وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ, and we taught him مِن لَدُنَّا, from near us, ilman, knowledge. That عَلَّمْنَاهُ مِن لَدُنَّا, especially from us we gave him some knowledge. Some knowledge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to His creation. How? By sending angels. Similarly, by showing certain things. By letting people discover. So some knowledge is made open to the creation. They are able to learn about it. But there is some knowledge that Allah has kept with Himself. مِن لَدُنَّا. Some knowledge that Allah has kept with Himself. Special knowledge with Him. And what is that knowledge? It's the knowledge of the unseen. It's the knowledge of ghaib, ilmul ghaib. So Allah says that وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِن لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. Khadir was given a special knowledge from Allah, which Allah does not give to every person. So what was this knowledge that he had been given? The knowledge of the unseen. It does not mean that he was given the knowledge of all of the unseen, all of the matters related to the unseen, but ilman, a certain knowledge, certain aspects, some parts. And with the story that will follow, it will be made quite obvious that Khadir was given some knowledge of the unseen. And this was not the knowledge of prophethood. This was not ilm nubuwwah. Because the knowledge that he possessed cannot be learnt. It cannot be learnt. The angel comes and he teaches the knowledge to the messenger. The messenger, he teaches that knowledge to who? To the people. However, this knowledge that Khadir had been given, it cannot be learnt. It's not possible that you can do its idrak. Its idrak is not possible. Nor is it based on something tangible that you can learn about it. And we see that Khadir, he would do something based on the knowledge of future or the unseen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him information, He had given him some knowledge that He had not given to everyone else. Now the question is, who is Khadir? Because there are many opinions with regards to him. Some say he was a prophet, some say he was of the awliya Allah, some say he was an angel, some say some other kind of creation. Who was he? What do we learn from this ayah? How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe him? Abd, a servant. And know that everything is a servant of Allah. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَبْدًا. Every single creature, whether a jinn, a human being, an angel, from the human beings, a prophet or not a prophet, every person is who? A servant of Allah. But what we do know is that he was a servant from the righteous servants of Allah. He could be of the awliya of Allah, who are blessed with karamat. You see, prophets, if they do something extraordinary, what is that? A miracle, a mu'jiza. But if any other person who is not a prophet, if something extraordinary happens with him or at his hands, what is that? A karama. So it's possible that he was of the awliya of Allah, who Allah had given some karamat. So all of this is possible. But the texts, the Quran and Sunnah, what do they show? That he was just an abd. He was a servant of Allah. And because it has not been specified exactly who he was, what his status was, therefore even we do not need to do that. If it was really necessary, Allah would have informed us. He would have. Many scholars say that he was a prophet, but others, they disagree that no, he was not a prophet. And if he was a prophet, think about it, his name would have been mentioned with the rest of the prophets. But we don't see his name being mentioned with the rest of the prophets. So again, this is a matter that Allah did not tell us about exactly, because the point is not to know about who Khadir is, but the point of the story is to realize that there are people who have more knowledge than you. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Now the question is, why is he given this name Khadir? There is a hadith in Sahih Bukhari in which the Prophet ﷺ said that he was called Al-Khadir because he sat on a barren farwa. What is a farwa? A patch of withered vegetation. And it turned green. It turned khadra beneath him. So from that he was given the name Khadir. Now how could it turn green? How is that possible? Remember again, what the prophets do, if it's something extraordinary, what is that? A mu'jiza. Anyone other than a prophet, if he does something extraordinary, then what is that? A karama. So this was a karama, if he was of the awliya of Allah. However, since we do not know what exactly he was, who exactly he was, there is no point in saying whether it was a mu'jiza or a karama. The Prophet ﷺ did not say that, even we do not need to speculate. قَالَ لَهُ مُوسَى. Musa ﷺ said to him, هَلْ أَتَّبِعُكَ? May I please follow you? He takes his permission. عَلَى upon أَن تُعَلِّمَنِي that you teach me مِمَّا from that which عُلِّمْتَ you have been taught رُشْدًا of sound judgment. Rushd is right and sensible conduct. It is different from ilm. Ilm is knowledge, information, what something is, how something is. But rushd you can say is how to use it. Or you can say rushd is the more refined form of it. For example, ilm, we can understand this as raw gold. For example, not that rushd is actually that, I'm just giving you an example so you can understand. So you can say knowledge is like raw gold. But rushd is like gold that has been turned into some beautiful jewelry, a beautiful necklace that you're wearing. Is there a difference between the two? If you have raw gold, what are you going to do with it? Carry it in your hand? To decorate yourself? To adorn yourself? No, you can't do that. If you want to wear it, what will you have to do? You will have to turn it into a bracelet or a ring or whatever you can. Similarly, ilm is just to know what something is, how something is, why it's like that. It's just information. However, rushd is sensible conduct. How to use it, how to apply it. Where is it relevant? Where is it not relevant? It's good sense. It's the maturity of mind. And remember that rushd, a person develops after ilm or with ilm. Ilm is the first step and then comes rushd. And rushd only comes with experience. You cannot learn rushd from books. You cannot learn rushd from just taking one class. You learn rushd by experience, dealing with people, applying the knowledge. This is how sensible conduct develops in a person. So we see that Musa a.s. says to him that, may I follow you on the condition that you teach me of what you have been taught of sound judgment. He does not say ilm over here, because Musa a.s. already had ilm. He was being taught rushd. Now we see over here from the manner of Musa a.s. that this request that he made is extremely polite. This request is extremely humble. He is making a request first of all. He does not say, I'm Musa, I've come from I'm the Prophet of Bani Israel and I have come here. Please tell me what you know. He requests, may I follow you? May I learn from you? Could you please teach me? So what does it show to us? What does it show? The etiquettes of learning. We see that Musa a.s., he was in a way superior to Khadir. How? Musa a.s. was a prophet. Then he was a human being. If we say, hypothetically, if Khadir was an angel, even then who would be better? Musa a.s. Because a righteous human being is better than angels. And on top of that, he was a prophet of Allah. So even if Khadir was a human being, still whose status was higher? Musa a.s. And on top of that, Musa a.s., how does Allah describe him? وَكَانَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَجِيهًا. That he was very honorable. Musa a.s. is very honorable near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Musa a.s. is a Kalimullah. Allah spoke to him. But still we see how respectful and how polite he is when he speaks to Khadir. Because very soon, Musa a.s. was going to learn from him. He was going to learn from him what he did not know about. This is why he is polite and respectful towards his teacher, although he may be in some other ways lesser than him. But still he is respectful. What does this teach us? That first of all, the student, the person who is learning, he must be polite and he must be respectful towards the one whom he is learning from. Because if there is no adab, if there is no respect, then a person cannot gain anything. Only when there is respect, then a person can gain. And if a person does not respect, then he will not be able to gain anything. So we see that the learner, he should treat the one who is teaching him with respect and honor. Sometimes in the name of friendship, in the name of frankness, we tend to forget our proper etiquettes. Sometimes it's possible that there's perhaps a group in charge who may be related to us, whom we know from before, or perhaps we are family friends with them. And because of the frankness that we have with them, sometimes it's possible that we do not treat them in the proper way. Remember that where there is a person who is teaching you something, no matter how you may be superior to them, it could be in age, it could be in status, it could be that you have more knowledge than them in some other aspect. But because they are teaching you here right now, what does that show? That you have to be respectful. you have to be polite. Musa a.s. was better than Khadr in so many ways, but still we see he is very polite. And this is something that we have to do as well. It is said that al-ilmu yadi'u bayna al-haya'i wal-kibri. Knowledge, it gets wasted between shyness and arrogance. When a person is too shy to ask, or when he is too arrogant, then what happens? He will not be able to learn. Think about it. If you want to get some water out of the jug, and you want to pour it into the glass, where will the glass be? Above the jug or lower than the jug? Lower. If you make it equal or if you make it higher, you won't be able to pour the water into the glass. So in order to receive, you have to lower yourself. It does not mean that you show yourself as someone who does not have any self-respect. No. What it means is that you have to be polite and respectful. We see that Musa a.s., he does not say things like, oh, I have nothing, I don't have any knowledge, I'm so ignorant. No. He just says, may I please accompany you? Could you please teach me? This is the kind of respect that is required. We also see that Musa a.s., his vision is focused. He has come to learn, so he asks him directly. He does not go here and there. He does not say, can I just accompany you? No. He just says to him directly, could you please let me accompany you so that I can learn from you? Simple. So that the teacher, he does not begin to doubt this person. He does not become suspicious of him. And at the same time, it's very clear between the two why they are together. What's the objective? The objective is that this person wants to learn and this person has to teach. So Musa a.s. is very focused and he tells Khadr directly, I have come here to learn. Not that I have come here to eat your food and drink your juice and etc. etc. No. I have just come here to learn. Please teach me. He does not have any hidden motives, any hidden agenda. He is very direct, so that Khadr also does not become suspicious of him. And if you tell somebody, I want to learn from you, then what's going to happen? They're going to be very happy with you. Isn't it so? If somebody asks you, can I please learn this from you? Could you please teach me this? Aren't you going to be so excited? You're going to be excited. You're going to want to teach him. So this is why Musa a.s. said to him that, may I accompany you so that you can teach me? Because if you ask someone to teach something to you, they will be happy. Especially if they have ilm and if they are a person who is of the Ahlul Ilm. Because a person who has ilm, he wants